Welcome back to my channel, Ask Me What I'm Reading. I'm Abby, and my love language is when people ask me what I'm reading. I actually filmed this video yesterday when I was good and tipsy, but lost the footage, corrupted the footage, don't know where it is, so we're here for part two. And I don't feel tipsy at all, but y'all, I've done everything I could. I had an entire can of this, strawberry margaritas stuff that was disgusting. Got my dad to drive me to Chile so I wouldn't drunk and drive. To be very honest with you, I don't feel any sort of way, except for that I gave my dad tips for how we could both survive in jail as fellow betas, and we won't get into that. Okay, so today we are going to be doing some tipsy tier ranking. Wait, first, let me tell you what I've been reading, because you know I love to tell you what I've been reading. I actually am not really physically reading anything today or yesterday or the day before. I'm listening to The Best Worst Thing by Lauren Oakey. It is an anticipated 5-star read. I wouldn't say I'm having a good time. It's kind of traumatizing, but I think it might be 5 stars. We're like in the 4-star territory right now. Anyway, let's jump right in. All right, popular book tropes and how much they make me salivate. The inspiration for this tier ranking list is one time I was in the car with my friend Sive, and she was telling me about a book she was reading, and she was actually vlogging it, so I might get the footage from her. She was telling me about a book she was reading, and I was like, wait, that sounds really good. That sounds really good. And then she goes, oh. And she, as a throwaway line said, oh, and he's a single dad. And I did a spit take as I was driving my car. Editing Abby, if you get the footage from Sive, you know what to do.
So far, my favorite is the second one, Heartless, because I would die for a grumpy single dad. Die.
Wait, can I out Abby a little bit? I was telling her.
Yeah, tell him I have no dignity.
I was telling her about my current read, which is Christmas Sweater Weather, which I showed you guys last night. And then I was telling her about the plot and kind of the setup and stuff. And then I went, oh.
And I was already interested.
Yeah.
I was already like, yes, sign me up.
I actually don't think I told you guys this, but I was like, oh, also, Hayden's a single dad. And she,
projectile spit. Because I was so excited. I was like, bleh, bleh, bleh. I said, what?
It's a different type of spit take. Anyways, it was really funny.
So I'll be adding that to my TBR.
Just so you guys know, if y'all have any good single dad romance recommendations, send them her way.
Anyways, I decided to rank some popular book tropes based on how much they would make me do a spit take. Ranking popular book tropes based on how much they make me drool. Single dad, I'm foaming at the mouth. Cheating trope, I'm spitting that out. So we have some popular tropes down here. I tried to do cute little images, but we were running into AI, copyright issues, and who has the freaking time, so I didn't. Okay. Bottom tier or F tier is spit it out, never again. Again, I tried to stick to the salivating, drooling vibe for this tier system. I don't know. Next, bad taste in my mouth. Ugh. Then dry mouth. This means could go either way. I don't really care. You've piqued my interest. Depends on the author. It depends on if it's done well or not. You've piqued my interest is tell me more. Yeah, you've got my, if I'm, tuning out of this conversation, I hear that, you've piqued my interest, but I'm gonna need to hear a little more. I might add that to my TBR to get to in the future. Open mouth smile. This is how I'm envisioning this, is I'm, entranced. I'm yeah, keep talking. That sounds good. That's a good thing. Open mouth smile is, I'm craning my neck forward and, getting in your personal space. Foaming at the mouth. This is panting. Give me that book. And then splash zone. That's not pornographic. Get your freaking heads out of the gutter. That just means I'm doing a spit take. And I'm what? I need a bib. I need medical staff on standby. I'm canceling plans. I'm calling in sick to work. And I'm staying home and reading this book. I don't care what my TBR looks like. I'm moving this to the top of my TBR and picking it up right now. If a book has this trope, I'm reading it right now. Insta love. I don't understand I don't understand the allure of love at first sight. Where's the slow burn? Where's the yearning? Where's the pining? Where's the tension? Where's the chemistry? You're telling me insta love or love at first sight, and I'm saying, oh, so they're just attracted to each other. You don't know the other person's personality. You don't know if they're funny or not. You don't know how intelligent they are. You don't know what their interests are. You just think they're cute. And I think that gives me a bad taste in my mouth, okay? Because I like a slow burn. I like when characters know each other so intimately before they are physically intimate. Because guess what? Insta love, you like how somebody looks. What happens when how they look changes over time? He falls first. Absolutely, he's got to. You've piqued my interest. Like, I don't want to read a book where she falls first and he's not paying attention to her. Bump that. I need a man who is down bad, or I don't care. Who did this to you? Foaming at the mouth, open mouth smile. I think this is foaming at the mouth. And yeah, it's overdone. I don't care. I'll take it every time. For those of you who are unfamiliar, who did this to you is like when one of the main characters, one of the love interests is injured, or they're they have scars, and the other love interest is like, who did this to you? Or they're hurt. They're like, who did this to you? No, tell me. Tell me who did this to you so that they can go take care of business. Another one, I didn't know where else to go. Actually, that's Splash Zone. I didn't know where else to go is when the love interests are enemies or rivals, but they're definitely not allies or friends. If anything, they might be reluctant allies. But like something happens to one of the main characters, they're injured, like they're injured, they're in pain, and they literally had nowhere else to go, and they show up at their doorstep. That's the sluttiest thing a man can do, is show up at your front door and say, I didn't know where else to go, when he's like mortally wounded. Forbidden love, you've piqued my interest. Because sometimes when it's forbidden, my people pleaser or like rule follower side is like, no, it's not fun if you're always worried you're gonna get caught. But if it's like tension, then I like that. Slow burn, open mouth smile. But that's just like a non-negotiable for me, because again, hate insta love. Age gap, spit it out never again, or bad taste in my mouth. Okay, I'm gonna put bad taste in my mouth. Here's the only time I'm okay with age gap is if the younger party is in their 30s. If the younger party is in their 30s, I'm okay with it. If the older party's in their 40s or 50s, I don't care. Okay? I don't care about a 20-year age gap if they're in their 30s and their frontal lobe is fully developed. If the younger member in the age gap relationship is like 29 or below, I want no part. I want no part. I want no part in it. Student teacher, spit it out never again. I can't, in my logical brain, think of a single time when student teacher relationships are appropriate. Even if you're in college and you're a grad student, there's still a power imbalance. There's still, it just doesn't do it for me. If I ever get on drugs, maybe. Ex's dad. You've piqued my interest. Oh, this guy's an asshole to you. He cheats on you. He tells you, sorry, I'm not attracted to you anymore because you got a little fat. You fuck his dad. Obviously. And it starts out as revenge, but you fall in love. Yeah. I'm looking at you, charming your dad. Oh yeah, when the dad also happens to be a demon. Cop times criminal. I love this. In the Mind F series, when the MMC, male main character, is an FBI profiler hunting down the serial killer, who coincidentally, they didn't neither one of them planned it this way. They actually just like had a meet cute and fell for each other and started dating. The FBI profiler doesn't know that the serial killer he's looking for is actually his 5'2" girlfriend. Foaming at the mouth. That also reminds me of things like Silver Cloak by L.K. Stevens, where like she's a cop, he's a criminal, and she's undercover. Love that. Billionaire could go either way. If you're using money to manipulate me, no thanks. If you're paying me $1,000 every time you kiss me, hell yeah, brother. Good girl times bad boy is gonna be bad taste in my mouth. I don't like the misogyny that's wrapped up in taking a pure virginal girl and corrupting her and finding joy and leaving her corrupted. I just don't see what the turn on is there. I I Hey, can you not? Sorry, my dog is chewing a bone right behind me. Bubby, can you not? Can you go somewhere else? Bubby, can you go somewhere else? All right, you can do it there. I don't care. I love you. Um, Now, if you're talking bad girl, good boy, that piques my interest. But I have no interest in the kink or fetish that is taking a naive girl who doesn't know about sex or the world, who's been sheltered her whole life, and you like corrupting her and like ruining her. No thanks. Love triangle. I don't know if I have a bad taste in my mouth or if I'm just kind of like, meh, doesn't really do anything. I'm not gonna, like, same with Billionaire. I'm not gonna not read a book because that's in it, but I'm also not gonna pick up a book because that's in it. You know what I mean? Miscommunication, spit it out, never again. In my opinion, now, I'm okay if miscommunication happens to be part of the book or if there's a good reason for the miscommunication, like it's situational. But if the reason why two people are not together is because there's no obstacles in their way, no obstacles are in their way. The only reason they're not together is because they had a miscommunication. They don't think the other person likes them. That miscommunication is just the result of poor communication skills and not being able to express your feelings. Then, sorry, you're not mature enough to be in a relationship. You don't deserve the other person. Like, you don't deserve to be in a relationship if you can't communicate how you're feeling. Sorry. I'm sorry, if miscommunication is a problem, you don't like in the romance genre, which also bleeds into romantasy, you have to overcome personal challenges and growth to then like end up not, I don't want to say earning, but like us feeling like you've earned the like if you're miscommunicating, I'm sorry, you need to work on yourself, both of you. You're not mature enough or ready to be in a relationship if you can't communicate your feelings without being afraid of rejection. You're not ready to date. Sorry. Not like other girls, yourself. Okay? Being like other girls is a privilege. It is an honor. It is something I'm proud of to be like other girls. Basic? Hell yeah, because girls are awesome and magical and beautiful and brilliant and sparkly and smart and funny and creative. You're basically saying that you don't think girls are worthy of time or you think they're silly or frivolous. No, girls are awesome. I'm just like other girls, and that's something to be proud of. If you say not like other girls or that's how the book is described, it's dead to me. Dead to me. Forced proximity, you've piqued my interest. Time travel, no thanks. No thanks. So that goes for all magical realism, unless it's actually like fantasy or sci-fi. If it's like magical real, it's like a contemporary, but there's time, like that kind of stuff doesn't do it for me. Sorry. Lost Air. It's kind of overdone, but you have piqued my interest. I like the idea that there is someone who has a claim to the throne, but as a lost heir was raised in poverty, not knowing who their family was, so they're humble. They've had to learn a skill or a trade or be scrappy or smart in order to survive. And so they understand the plight of the average person, but then they come into this power where they're able to make change for the better. Perfect, in my opinion. I just don't want it to be overdone. Chosen one, i.e., Harry Potter, i.e., Luke Skywalker. Some would say Anakin Skywalker, but that's like a whole different point. I like Chosen One. I just don't like. This goes into the next one. I don't like too much of a reluctant hero. I don't like when they're like, oh, but I'm not good enough. And they're so in their head and so full of themselves. And like, oh, I'm just a regular person. I I like a chosen one when they're funny, down to earth, grounded. I'm gonna say dry mouth. Could go either way. Same for reluctant hero. They have to be reluctant, not because they're like, um, not because they're like, woe is me and I suck and I can't do it, but more like, I don't want to do that. I just want to have a normal life and no thank you. Or like, I'm not, I'm not built for that, but thanks. Like, I don't know. There's a certain attitude that I need. Fated mates. I have an interesting. I don't like the idea of fated mates being that like you have no choice in who you're meant to be with. You just like meet someone and you're like, oh, they're my fated mate. Because that means like I feel like you're not choosing each other. It's just like a pheromone that you're like. But I do like the animalistic grittiness of like like it's animalistic like smell someone or see someone and be like, you're my mate. And like then there's like a possessiveness which leans into misogyny, but in a way I'm comfortable with in an unhealthy way. I'm gonna go dry mouth because I like the element of being able to choose your person, but I also like a freaky little fated mate that sniffs their mate and is like, you're the one. Grumpy Sunshine, Black Cat, Golden Retriever are both very similar. I have a theory that relationships where both people are a black cat or both people are grumpy or where both people are golden retriever or sunshine, those work. If the more feminine leaning love interest is the black cat or the grumpy and the more masculine leaning love interest is the sunshine or the golden retriever, I think it'll work. But in my personal experience, it doesn't work when the more feminine person is the sunshine or the golden retriever, and the more masculine love interest is the grumpy or black cat. For especially in fictional worlds, I want that man to be groveling. I want him to wake up every day thankful that he gets to breathe the same air as her, that he's alive during the same time that she is. Like, so I would say reverse grumpy sunshine. I don't like it. I also have seen Grumpy Sunshine done in contemporary romances where she's like kind of dumb. Like they portray the girl as sunshine but like vapid and silly and frivolous. I don't like that. Like I want if the girl is the sunshine, I want it to be like not because she's never experienced hardship, but that like she chooses to be an empath and care about people and be resilient and that like that sunshine is shown as strength, not a weakness. So I could go either way. Dry mouth, you're gonna have to. I could go either way with this. Nothing's happening. I'm not salivating, but I'm also not spitting it out. Same with this. Like I do prefer when the girl is the black cat and the guy is the golden retriever. You could go the other way, but like you're gonna have to do it tastefully. Um, because it's like that same thing where it's like, oh, he hates everyone but you. Yeah, I've tried that a couple times and it feels really good and you feel really special to be the one person that he likes, but then what happens when he doesn't like you anymore? And then like your whole identity is like shattered. So I don't like a guy who's like mean to people or rude or like let's stop with like the morally gray guys being just like rude and mean and that being hot. And then when girls are mean and rude, we crucify them. So, I don't know. Maybe there is a bad taste in my mouth, but I'm gonna leave it there for dry mouth. Okay? Boy or girl next door. Immediately you've piqued my interest because this makes me think of Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. Wes Bennett, my man, my man, my man. Only one bed. In the past, I would say splash zone or foaming at the mouth, but I feel like this is so overdone. I've also seen only one horse. Like, in what world? Okay. I've seen it overdone. What I've enjoyed more recently, actually, is like when there's only one bed, people are just like, oh, perfect, they're gonna sleep in it together. I like when they do the only one bed, but they're like, okay, I'll sleep on the floor, or the guy sleeps at the foot of the bed, or that like one of them their head is here and their feet are down and the other their head is here and their feet are this way or whatever. Like I don't know, I kind of like when the authors almost tease you and make you think there's going to be only one bed but then they don't. So I'm not going to say bad taste in my mouth. I'm going to say dry mouth because I could go either way at this point. Maybe you've piqued my interest. No, I'm feeling dry. I don't know. Single dad splash zone. Sorry. In this world, a responsible, capable man who's not able only to clothe and feed himself, but also another human being, that's crazy. That's mystical. That's fantasy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Because these men out here really be doing the least. Fake dating used to be splash zone or foaming at the mouth for me, but I have just recently read a ton of books with fake dating, so I'm kind of sick of it a little bit. So I would say you've piqued my interest. No, I would say open mouth smile. Here's my issue. When there's fake dating, there has to be a good reason why they can't. Like, when they're fake dating and then they develop actual feelings, there's got to be a good reason why they're deciding to not actually, like, do a full send. For example, I just finished a book where there was fake dating. They develop feelings, but they realize they do need to just stick to keeping it, like, ending the timeline because, like, he's moving to California. And, like, she's starting school in New York, and it's just not going to work out logistically. I don't like fake dating when it's like, oh, we have feelings for each other. There are no obstacles in our way to being together. We just, again, miscommunication, are scared to say how we really feel because, like, what if I get rejected? So there's got to be a good reason why when feelings do eventually come about, they don't just, like, full send it. I also hate fake dating. I only like fake dating when both parties are in agreement and it's mutually beneficial. I recently DNF'd a book, First and Forever by Lynn Painter, which is crazy. Lynn Painter's young adult books are my favorite of all time, like auto buy, auto read. Her adult contemporary romances I find mid to lacking, maybe. I recently DNF'd her book, First and Forever, which was a contemporary romance, adult romance. And football player in the NFL, and this girl who's just like a normal girl. And long story short, it's a PR stunt. The PR person asks him to ask her out to help the image of the football team. And she's like, I can't believe he asked me out. Like, what does he see in me? Like, he thinks I'm special and important. And, like, wow, this is so crazy. I don't feel worthy at all. I had to DNF because she at some point in that book is going to figure out that even though he did develop feelings on that first date and in the future then when he asked her out it was real, that first date he did only ask her out because it was a PR stunt and she's going to question like how much of it was real. And I just couldn't do it. Both parties have to know it's fake. When one person knows it's fake and the other person doesn't, that feels like bullying to me. That feels mean and I don't like it. Speaking of bullying, bully romance. In contemporary fiction, I don't like it because it's just not cool. However, there is a book series. It is fantasy. It is young adult fantasy. Cruel Prince trilogy by Holly Black. I'm sorry, she's a human, he's an elf. The elves bully her and her twin sister because they're humans. And it's fun. I don't know, they're really mean to them, but like they're enemies. I feel like in contemporary romance you're just an asshole. But like in fantasy it's like, well, it makes sense, you're like enemies. Like she's taking away resources from the fae in this area. Like they're fairies or elves, but like anyways, I could do it. I would say Dry Mouth because it has to be done well because I can think of one book where the author did it well and it worked for me. I did try to start the Zodiac Academy and I couldn't get past that bullying aspect, but I really have heard so many people say it's God tier for them. I think I just need to get past that first book and then I'll understand more. Because in that one too, it's like, yeah, there's bully romance, but it's because it's basically like a college for fae or like magical beings and these two, like, again, twin girls, we're sensing a trend here. These twin girls were raised in the human world in foster care, and then on their 18th birthday, this guy's like, hey, you're the heirs to the throne. You have this huge inheritance, but to earn your inheritance, you have to graduate from this basically like magical college. And they're like, cool, we don't want to be on the throne, we don't want to rule, but we need money. Because we know what it's like to be poor. And so they go, they're just trying to graduate and get out of there. But in the meantime, they've been gone for 18 years, they've been missing, and no one knows where their parents are either. Their parents are dead. So in the meantime, these 4 families have been in power, and their 4 sons are next to be in power. They're like being groomed to be the next like rulers. So these girls coming in is threatening the power that they want. And so like it's in their best interest to keep these girls from graduating college. I say college, you know what I mean. So that they can't take their inheritance, they can't take the throne, and the guys and their families can stay in power. So like there the bully romance makes sense to me. So I think it works better in fantasy than it does in like contemporary. Second chance romance. Oh, the first book that comes to mind for me is oh shoot, what's the book? It's by Kennedy Ryan. I'll put it on the screen for sure. Before I Let Go. Oh, I love that. Couple, really crappy circumstances happen. They get divorced, but it's like they're amicable. They own a business together. They co parent really well. They're respectful toward one another. That second chance romance is peak. I don't always love second chance romance, especially if the reason they broke up the first time was just over a what, boys and girls? Miscommunication. But if there's a good reason why they broke up and there's a second chance, then. So I would say dry mouth. Like, I could go either way. Marriage of Convenience, this used to be Foaming at the Mouth or Splash Zone, but I think I've just overdone it. It's similar to fake dating, but with more commitment, because fake dating, usually they're like, okay, we'll do this for a couple weeks or a month or so, or for one event, so my parents will get off my back or whatever. Marriage of Convenience, like, that's more long term. I don't know. It's like a little more exciting to me because there's also the forced proximity of you're living together. So I would say Foaming at the Mouth, maybe, for that. Friends to Lovers, you've piqued my interest. I love when people know each other intimately, like intellectually, and their personality, and they have good humor and good crack, as the British say. Like, their conversation is really good. And they care about each other as people before there's like a romantic interest. Workplace academic rivals, Splash Zone. You tell me that, I'm reading it. I'm thinking Divine Rivals. I'm thinking The Hating Game. A workplace or academic rival situation, love it. Live, laugh, love it. The banter's just always so good in those two. Older brother's best friend, Foaming at the Mouth. Guys, if something just messed up, I'm gonna... Oh, thank God. Okay. Older brother's best friend, love it. There's just something about, it's almost like friends to lovers or like boy next door, because you grow up together. So there's not the immediate attraction. Like, if anything, you probably annoyed him when you were younger, but like, you know each other. You know intimate things about each other, what your favorite foods are, what your pet peeves are, what you do that drives them crazy. And I don't know, that hits. Now, there's older brother's best friend, I like that. Best friend's older brother, don't love that. The book I'm thinking of is by Carly Fortune. It's the one where he's like shucking clams and shit. I don't like that one because with best friend's older brother, and I'm thinking where like it's a girl, her best friend's older brother. For some reason, when it's best friend's older brother, they usually keep it from the best friend and they're keeping it a secret, and I don't like that. I don't like choosing a guy over your best friend. Like, if you can't tell your best friend, hey, I have a crush on your brother, we're gonna see where things go. I don't like it. So I would say bad taste in my mouth. Cause hoes before bros, you know what I'm saying? Sisters before misters. Enemies to lovers, open mouth smile. It's a little over marketed these days, okay? If you're telling me it's a lot of times it's actually workplace or academic rivals, it's not actually enemies to lovers. I don't really see enemies to lovers being an accurate description unless it's fantasy or sci-fi and there's actual war going on and you're on opposite sides of the war and you actually have to like kill each other. Otherwise it's really just rivals or dislike. Now, you might think this is a typo. Didn't you just say enemies to lovers? Now I'm putting lovers to enemies. There is something so nice when two characters start out as enemies, strangers, acquaintances, to reluctant allies, to friends, to lovers, then betrayal. Someone sells someone out to the enemy, and then you're back to enemies. Oh, I eat that shit up because now you've got the intimacy. You care about them. You have feelings for them and they hurt you, and you're back to enemies, but there's still that like tension and frustration. I'll eat that shit up. Splash Zone. Hey. Quick question. I think I already did all of these, didn't I? Must have added these twice. Right? Okay, cool. So we're done. Yeah, so I would love to hear where you would rank these. And thanks for hanging out. Sorry I wasn't super tipsy. I really tried my mother best. Was gonna do it this weekend, but I was feeling depressy. Alcohol is a depressant. I don't play around with drinking alcohol when your mental health isn't good or using it to self medicate, so I was like, we're not doing it. Tried it last night, lost the footage, tried it again tonight. Apparently, I drank 2 times in a month, and now I have like a great tolerance or something because I don't feel tipsy at all. Yeah, so let me know if any of these tropes reminded you of specific books that you think could change my mind. I've also got several reading vlogs coming out in the next couple weeks. I've got one where I'm reading only romance, one where I'm reading predicted 5-star books, one where I'm reading 3 books that my sister chose for me. They're my required reading for August. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, share with your enemies, share with your older brother's best friend, share with your best friend's older brother, share with the person you're in a love triangle with, share it with your fated mate, and just be like, hey, no questions asked. Go subscribe to Ask Me What I'm Reading on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.